Aloha mahalo as we take a look at OKO Punch Counter number 4. This one is our first introduction to a two-punch attack. We've got a opponent's left leg forward. He's got a left jab followed by a right either hook or a haymaker. So in other words, it's going to look like this. You've got the jab followed by the hook. We're not so much worried about the jab. Distance is our friend. We're going more interested in that second weapon because it's got distance to wind up. Once again, it's in our 12 o'clock, the green zone. The left leg is slightly forward. What we will do is as the jab comes in, we're going to tap it. Notice I just took a small step. It's called step drag. Create distance. I don't know what's going on. My hands are up in defensive position. I'm going to tap that jab. As I see he's coming in with the right, I'm going to then step with my left foot towards 1030. It's opening up our hips. We call it a gauge leg. I'm going to open up my hips. I'm going to parry or brush block the punch past my face, and it's going to rest on my shoulder as I hammer to the inside to the radial nerve or to the bicep. I'm going to now borrow his balance, and my right leg I want to attack not at 12, I want to attack to his 45. In other words, when we talk about attacking, one of the unique things about Kaju and is found in other arts that are related is attacking on 45-degree angles. If we attack straight, it's force on force. But if we attack on a 45-degree angle, here's 12, here's our 45. And it's called an oblique angle. It's going to produce rotation and canceling height, width, and depth that a straight attack on at 12 cannot do. So with that, once again, left foot slightly forward, parry, tap that jab. Gauge leg, open it up, parry, hammer. Now my right knee is going to face towards 130 on the clock for the kick. And as I land, once again, I have his arm on my shoulder. I'm contacting him at 2 points. I can borrow his balance for the kick. And now as I land, I'm going to land with that hammer strike to the trap area or to the carotid. Once I am here, I've struck, he's shocked, he's stepping back a little bit. Once again, what I'm going to do is my left foot is going to come up to my right, what we call an in-place stance change. I'm going to reach around and grab the other side, so I'm in a scissors choke hold position next to him. My right foot now is going to up the clock, pizza slice, towards 1030 as I take him down. I'm going to step back towards 1030 and to bring him down and continue and follow up, or what we call ground and pound, right? Once again from the beginning. Left foot slightly forward, hands ready. Tap that jab. Tap the jab. Step, brush, block, strike. Kick. Land. In place stance change, hook. Bring around and down. And cross and cover. Once again, stay tuned as we look at the concepts and principles in OKO Punch Counter number 4. Aloha mahalo as we talk about OKO Punch Counter number 4, concepts and principles. Once again, this one takes a significant step forward in concepts and principles. You're in the orange belt material, start looking and moving like orange belts. Once again, this is the first two-hand attack. So we have the left jab, followed by a right hook or right cross. With that, we need to make sure that we're aware that, hence, when the jab comes in, we just tap it, right? And we're creating space. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I don't want to commit to a jab. What he wants you to do is commit to the jab. He wants you to make that mistake of coming in with a thrusting inward block. or to commit to a full brush block or a full parry. No, we're just going to tap it out of the way, because we know if we tap it and gauge the distance, it's not going to hit us. We have this rule, especially in sparring: don't block something that's not going to hit you. I'll say that again because it's important. Don't block something that's not going to hit you. It's a waste of time and it's a waste of energy. Same thing here. Just tap it. Let him know that you see it, but let him know that you see the other hand. As he comes in, once again, we're going to brush block and strike. Oh, hey, we've seen that before. Brush block, strike, bringing it away from the target and striking either the radial nerve or the bicep. But next comes a new introduction to OKO, is what's called the gauge leg. So in the base technique, and what you probably show most of your orange belts, if you guys are instructors, is the left foot slightly forward. He comes in. We're going to tap the jab, but then as he punches, we're going to parry, strike, right? And our feet are still pointing at 12 o'clock. And probably the kick is going to go to 12. But what I want to do is introduce the 45-degree angles of attack. We see this in Kosho-ryu. We see this in other Kempo-based arts. Here's 12 o'clock. If you are a Wahine, or someone with not a lot of height and not some extra gut like me, straight on attacks require force and backup mass in order to be effective. For our Wahine, for our girls, for the ladies, they need to use their technique to their advantage. So we are now going to strike at a 45-degree angle obliquely into the target, which also, by the way, has a nice byproduct of creating more rotation and canceling height, width, and depth. So once again, once I've brush blocked and strike, my left foot is going to step towards 1030, opening my hips, allowing me to kick to that 45. Especially for me, having a little bit longer legs, I need to open up my stance. Maybe for the Wahine, they may not need to do this. They may be able to kick at that 45 degrees without the gauge leg. And this is where something we call tailoring. We tailor the art to the student. We can modify techniques to the needs of the student. If you have a really tall, really large student, they're probably going to need a large gauge leg to open up their hips to allow that kick. Versus some of my kids can fire a kick from anywhere. Once again, we're going to tailor the art. Just as a good tailor, it makes the suit fit nicely and adjusts the suit as needed. The same thing we need to do with the art and with our students. So once again, I'm going to gauge leg and step up. Notice how that opened my hips to allow me to kick at that 45 degree and to step in. Once again, using the idea of the wave, using my backup mass, I'm going to crash like a wave into my opponent. So as I've kicked, as I've opened up my hip and kicked, I'm going to choose where I land. I'm not just going to throw my leg up there and it lands wherever it's going to land. I'm going to be purposeful. Maybe do I want to step onto the inside of his leg and affect the bear? Maybe do I want to step onto the front side of his foot and actually land on his foot, so that as I land with that hammer strike, he's stuck there. Questions you have to ask yourself as you're practicing these techniques. What works for you? What works for your students? Now we have what's called an in-place stance change. We want to get behind our opponent to affect the scissor choke, right? I can't reach him from just after the kick. If I just kick and land, and I try and reach this arm around, I'm maybe able to hook his neck, but not to grab the other side of his shoulder. For that, I'm going to need to bring my back foot up with me to Give me that space. Now my right foot is going to step, once again, pizza slice up the clock and take it down. We see this in SKK, in their punch counter number 3, or depending on the system, DM number 3. So we've got gauge leg as a new introduction for you guys. Height, width, and depth equals time. It's going to be all over the system. Borrowed balance, once again, and borrowing our opponent's balance. Marriage of gravity, and another new introduction that we've seen earlier is using our weight and our momentum to affect hard strikes. We've got the up clock and the pizza slice. We've got a scissor strangulation. Once again, the difference between blocking the airway and blocking the blood. And now we have an in-place stance change. We did this earlier. If you guys remember the video where I talk about using the triangle and stepping forward and back on the triangle uses an in-place stance change. With that, this has been OKO Punch Counter number 4 in the orange belt material. Thanks for taking a deep dive into the concepts and principles. Aloha and mahalo.